What's up, guys? So today we're going to be comparing the S23 Ultra to the S9 Plus. This was a comparison that I missed, so a lot of you guys were asking me to do this one. I thought I did it, but gonna do it right now. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So I think this is a great upgrade, you know, across the board. I think it checks every mark. So I think if you do go ahead, trade in your S9 Plus, you'll be pretty happy with this upgrade. So as with all, you know, upgrades, there are going to be some pros and cons, right? All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the hardware. As you can see, the S9 Plus, I still really love the color of this phone. It's just a really nice color. As a matter of fact, this phone just has some really awesome color choices in general. The blue color was pretty nice looking as well too. And you can see two very different body shapes. You have a more boxier shape on the S23. S9, you can see it's a little bit more curved, and I really like the way it feels in the hand. And like I said, I really love the way this phone looks. You can see fingerprint scanner on the back. It's a physical one, and then you also have a heart rate monitor on the S9 Plus as well too, which is pretty cool. It actually still works. I tested it out not too long ago. And yeah, so there's also one big difference here. You have a headphone jack on the S9 Plus, which you will be giving up, but you will be now getting a S Pen. So you give up the headphone jack and the SD card support that you get on the S9 Plus. You get a stylus, so you can navigate with the stylus. You can do digital artwork. I use it just to take down notes. It's extremely accurate. Like, I mean, extremely accurate. Like, it's really awesome. So if you're into digital artwork, it's one of the best styluses. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's one of the best that you can get right now, and it has a ton of little additional features in here as well too. So I think if you're into, you know, that type of stuff, then you'll really like it. As far as the design goes, you can see also the cameras are just massive on the S23 Ultra. Just massive. You also get more cameras, so we'll get into that a little bit later. But there's a big weight difference as well too here as well. The S9 Plus just feels much lighter, and it's a much smaller phone as well too. But like I said, I think this S9 Plus is still more comfortable. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the displays. So the S23 Ultra does have a dynamic AMOLED display. It's 120 Hz HDR10 Plus. It gets a peak brightness of 1750 nits. It's 1440p at 6.8 inches, and it's 500 for the PPI. The S9 Plus has a much smaller 6.2 inch display. It's Super AMOLED HDR10, 1440p, and then it's 529 for the PPI. And as you can see, you just have slimmer bezels on the S23 Ultra. Surprisingly, Samsung never went with the notch, so this phone does not have any type of notch. It just has, you know, thicker bezels and stuff like that. But I think the display here, again, is a much better display. It's got 120 Hertz. It's super bright outdoors. It's much brighter than the S9 Plus. As far as resolution wise, it's not actually that much different. The S9 Plus still looks incredibly sharp, and it actually is sharper than the S23 Ultra technically when it comes to the PPI. Now, looking at both screens, you can't really tell the difference, but it does have a higher PPI. So resolution wise, it is pretty nice. Still, even in 2022, colors still look really great. But like I said, S23 Ultra, 120 Hz, you got HDR10 Plus, a boxier screen, so it looks more like a TV with slimmer bezels. It just overall just a better display in general here. So definitely, I think you're getting an excellent display upgrade here. Alright, so next is going to be the specs. Now, this is a pretty good GPU power upgrade. I wouldn't say that much when it comes to overall just general speed. Yes, the S23 Ultra is faster, but you know, just opening apps and animations, the S9 Plus is really not that slow still. So the S23 Ultra, we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 made for Galaxy. We also have 256 gigs of internal storage, or this model here is 512 gigs, 12 gigs of RAM, but the base is 256, 8 gigs. The S9 Plus, it does have, like I said, you do have micro SD card support. Snapdragon 845, the last major OS update was Android 10. And this phone, I don't think it's getting security patches anymore as well, so that's also another reason you might want to consider. And the S9 Plus base storage is 64 gigs, and I believe it is 4 gigs of RAM. This model, it might be 6 gigs. So in general, the speed of the S9 Plus surprisingly is really not that slow. So if you just like start opening apps, where is YouTube? Like if we just open apps in general, you can see the S9 Plus is still pretty fast. Where you'll see the big difference is actually like with the scrolling. The 120 hertz versus the 60 hertz. Like I said, that'll probably pop out to you the fastest when you do decide to upgrade. But the S9 Plus is still super fast, guys. It's not like it's slow. And like I said, you'll probably feel the speed difference the most when it comes to games and stuff like that, because that's where the S23 Ultra really shines. Is you get a much more powerful GPU here. Now, the S9 Plus for a casual gamer, you can see it's still able to play games just fine. Even with the Snapdragon 845 being, you know, such an older chip, still really good. But if you're somebody that's really into games, so we'll go ahead and open PUBG here. You're going to get just better settings on PUBG. Everything's just going to feel faster and more fluid, less frame rate drops. So if you're a gamer, this is also a pretty good upgrade as well too. Not only that, but the S23 Ultra doesn't get as hot as the S9 Plus when you're doing, you know, intensive stuff. Guys, so for instance, like a game like PUBG actually still runs pretty good on the S9, but as you can see, there's no HDR Extreme, so there's no HDR 60 on here. Now it plays fine on the, you know, the lowest settings at Extreme. Plays fine, but with the S23 Ultra you just get better settings, less lag, so you can see HDR Extreme plays buttery smooth here, and like I said, does not get as hot when gaming. So definitely guys, I think it's a good upgrade only if you're somebody that plays a lot of games. Otherwise, if you're just a casual gamer, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Samsung did a pretty good speaker improvement here, so let's go ahead and play both at max volume. Yeah, so immediately I noticed the S23 Ultra was louder. I thought the S9 Plus wasn't even up all the way, so definitely just instant improvement there, just louder, better bass. Yeah, so S9 Plus doesn't sound bad, but definitely a great speaker improvement here. Alright, let's talk about some more additional features. Both these phones are IP certified, so you can get them wet. Like I said, you will be giving up micro SD card support and the headphone jack. And you do now have a in-display fingerprint sensor, which I think is just cooler. It looks more futuristic. The under-display fingerprint sensor, or the physical one, sorry, it works fine. A lot of people like the physical one. It just comes down to personal preference. And they both can take advantage of face unlock. Let's talk about the cameras. This is a pretty massive upgrade. S9 Plus dual camera setup, 12 megapixel standard, 12 megapixel telephoto. It does a 2x optical zoom, so you have 4K 60 video, and then an 8 megapixel selfie cam, and then you have the dedicated iris scanner on here as well too, and then it shoots in 1440p. The S23 Ultra is, like I said, a massive camera upgrade, so 200 megapixel standard. You also have 10 megapixel periscope telephoto with 10x optical zoom. And then you also have another telephoto lens, 10 megapixel, that's 3x. Then a 12 megapixel ultra wide. You can also shoot in 8K 30. And then you can have a 12 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60. So just, you know, bit massive difference when it comes to the specs. If you like to zoom a lot, if you want higher resolution video, more cameras, the S23 Ultra is a great upgrade. Check out these side-by-side stills.
Alright guys, here's the video on the S9 Plus here. We also have our telephoto lens we can zoom into 2x. Let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, here's just a little test footage of the S23 Ultra here for the video. The 3x, 10x. As you see, just look at the detail. It's really nice. Very impressive. And we do have a 0.6 on here as well too. So just awesome image quality here, man.
Alright, so lastly, battery life. This is also another upgrade that I think a lot of you guys would appreciate. The S23 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp battery. It charges at 45 watts. 15 watt wireless charging and reverse wireless charging is on here. The S9 Plus does have a smaller 3,500 milliamp battery and only charges at 15 watts, so it's going to charge noticeably slower, and you have wireless charging. So with all that being said, you get crazy good battery life on the S23 Ultra. It's pretty much a 2-day phone in my opinion. The S9 Plus, I can typically squeeze about 5 hours, almost 6 hours of screen on time out of this phone. Remember, it's an older phone, battery degrades, all that stuff, so you take that in consideration. But yeah, you're just getting a massive upgrade when it comes to battery. So if you're somebody that you want all day battery life, the S23 Ultra is going to do that for you. So let me know guys, which one do you guys prefer, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.